Oh yeah,
Right?
definitely.
And then one thing I always tell people is that the one thing about IFA is that it's the past, the present, and the future all at the same time, right? And sometimes you have to be in a certain place in order to get the second half of the reading. You know what I'm saying? To get the results.
Hey Cabo, and welcome to another episode of Talking Ifa with me, Babalawo Salako. Today I have the great pleasure of interviewing a longtime friend and priestess of mine, Oloye Ifawemimo Sangolade Aresa. Okay. And she has been a world traveler. She happens to be here in the United States for now. So I had to catch her while she was here. But she's going to tell a little bit about her stories, that how she came into the tradition and the religion, what kept her here, what hooked her, and some of her interesting stories. So let's talk. Greetings. I'm Babalawo Salako. I was initiated as a priest of Ifa and Obatala in Nigeria in 2006, and I've been practicing the Ifa Orisha religion for over 30 years now. My mission is simple: to help those who are new to the religion or lost in the religion. So if that's you, then buckle up and join me. This is Talking Ifa.
Let's talk.
All right.
Oloye
Agbo Ato. So let's go again and tell a little bit about yourself here. Now, you are a priestess of Sango and Ifa. So let's have your story of how you got started. Like, what got you into this culture?
Ooh, okay. So let's put it like this. Ifa found me. I did not find it. Let's just be very clear about that.
Okay.
I knew about Ifa from, not even Ifa. I knew about the Orisha from a academic standpoint because I'm in Gen X. So for those who don't understand what that means, Gen X people, we were one of the original people that fought for Black history in school, right? Mm-hmm. So we had the actual Black history classes where you didn't learn nothing about America. You learned everything about the continent and who was doing what when and stuff like that. So I knew about it from a very academic standpoint. Okay. Then what happened is I really not like most women, we kind of come into the culture through a man, right? So when I was living in Miami, a brother that I was dating at the time, he was into the culture, and I kept coming up in his reading, right? So Oshun was knocking his door down, beating him in the head, trying to, bring her in, she ain't doing right, all the things. And I remember I met his godmother, my godmother, now transitioned godmother, Ibaye. I went for my first reading with her, and I was told that I would be initiated within 1 year. When I tell you I fell out laughing, I was like, who? What? I don't even talk. I do not understand the words, right? And at the time, at the time of this particular reading, which was done by an Oba, I was marked to be a child of Oya. Okay. And so, just to give you timeline. So this was January of 2004, sorry. January 2004. And I was told that all this would go down. I'm laughing my butt off, like, haha, you know what I'm talking about, woo, woo, woo. And literally, now we're getting into August, right? And a couple of things happened. One, I got diagnosed with stage 3, stage 4 cervical uterine cancer. And when I went for my reading regarding that, that's when it had came up, or the question came up as to why Oya never said anything. So mind you, January, we're now in August, I have a diagnosis, and my godmother, she's questioning how come Oya has never said anything this entire summer about what's going on. So we redo the reading, and it turns out I'm actually a true child of Sango, which is why he didn't pop up, because Oya had me going through this transition with the cancer and whatnot. And now that it was illuminated that I was actually a child of Sango, now I could start the work. Now I could do the work, right? So that was a highly, let me tell y'all something. It's one thing to have a diagnosis like that, but then when you finally find out who your mom and your daddy truly is, let me tell you, the emotional breakdown that I had, like I had her Sango vessel in my lap. I'm, got the ugly cry going, all the things. Because with this particular reading, came answers. Like, this is how you need to move in order to, get on the other side of this diagnosis and everything. And so during that particular reading, I was given some instructions. A lot of it includes, different types of Ifá medicines, different rituals and that. But the biggest one was, you got to get initiated. Again, now I was told in January that I was going to get it by the end of the year. And now I'm being told again, he said, your life, let's get to it, right? So, I put all fear aside. I started working with, my medical providers and everything. Did not do chemo, radiation, none of that stuff, right? So in January, so now we're into January, the next January. And I'm sitting on the mat. We going through our stuff, talking about everything that's going on. And it turns out I need my hand to be fine. Okay? So my Oluo, Chief Adesina Tunji Aresa out of Ibadan, that's my Oluo, my godmother's husband. He sends me my Ifá. And literally this is January. February 14th to be exact, I get into a horrific car accident. Like a rollover. They had to get the jaws of life to get me out of it, like all the crazy stuff, right? But I physically was unharmed, right? And what happened next was, so remember, February 14th. On February 21st, I received the payout check from the car being totaled.
Okay.
14, 15, 16, 5 days.
Wow.
Right? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 7 days later, I had the whole payout. And guess what that payout did? It paid for my initiation. So I was like, if anybody's ever gotten into a motor vehicle accident, you never get your payout that quick.
Right.
Never. 7 days later, I went to the office, picked up the check. I called my godmother, and I'm like, I got paid out. I don't know what to do with the money. And she's like, I could have sworn you was over here crying on my ancestor shrine, crying to Sango, and you thought that you was going to get your initiation. They will say less. Let me turn the car around. I went, deposited, cashed the check out, went to her house, and literally, I think 2 weeks later, I was getting initiated to Sango. Right? Now, for those who don't know the difference between Lukumi and Isheshe being West African traditional. So Lukumi is the diasporatic version or evolution of West traditional Ifá because of the transatlantic slave trade, the mixing of Caribbean people and whatnot, right? So in Lukumi, when you're initiated to Orisha, you have to sit on the throne, or what they call the throne, for anywhere from 7 to 10 days, depending what Orisha you are being initiated to, right? So for those who only know about Isheshe, it's kind of equivalent to being in the grove, right? When you go into the bush and whatnot. So we're in Miami, 7 days, right? And I kid you not, that was the longest 7 days of my life because I've never sat still that long in my entire life. And then, so we're doing all the prayers, doing, all the sacrifice, all the things. And I kid you not, on the 6th day, that night, it was my God, like my Ajibona, Oloye Ifawemimo Sangolade She was there sitting in the throne with me. She was outside the throne room. I'm in the throne room. I had to go to the restroom. So I had to, get all the stuff on. I went to the restroom, didn't turn the light on. Went to the restroom, and all I heard come out was something that sounded metallic hit the toilet, right? It's like, you ever got the penny in the toilet, coin, that metallic sound that happens? That's all I heard. Went back, sat on the throne. We finished initiation and all the things, right? 2 weeks later, I go to my oncologist. There's not a single cancer cell in my body. Not one.
Wow.
Not half of one, not a piece of one, nothing. They did a full body PET scan, nothing. I got to save my years.
Wow.
Okay. So, I don't know. But all I can say is, in January, I was one way. In March, I was a totally different way.
Wow.
And the only thing that changed in my life, I did initiation. Okay? So,
that's crazy.
So, yeah, and legitimately, I've been cancer-free ever since then.
Wow.
Okay? Now, mind you, that's just Sango.
So that was Sango. Okay?
Okay.
A year or two later, so we're looking at 24, 25, so we're looking a couple years later, and then okay, so for those, I am a registered nurse for tax purposes. I'm a registered nurse, right? And I was working at night shift in the hospital, and I felt a shift in my body. Okay. I couldn't tell what it was. I just knew something was not right. And so I went and had a IFA reading done. Because at this time now my godmother had, she is now transitioned. And so I'm working with Baba Ifakola. I think he's still in Miami too. And he did the reading, and it turned out that the cancer had started to try to come back. Okay. And so we were both like, no. So did my IFA reading, did my rituals. And according to this particular reading, I needed to go ahead and have a particular procedure done on my womb space, right? So did that. Everything was going good. So this is around Thanksgiving, right? So now a couple days later, it wasn't Thanksgiving. It was during Christmas time. It was a couple weeks before Christmas. So maybe like mid-December or whatnot, I got the diagnosis that the cells were back, and they wanted to do a procedure to kind of like relieve my cervix of some of the cancer cells. I did my IFA reading, did my rituals. So now we're at Christmas, right? And for those who don't know, when a nurse or anybody in the healthcare field works in the hospital, we have to come to work during Christmas. Like if we're scheduled, we could get terminated on the spot if we don't show up for our shift, right? And if we get sick, we have to go to the ER at that hospital, and the doctor has to write a actual prescription or a note not to return to work every day that they want us off work. This is why all this is very important. So I'm at work, and I am literally dying at work, and I refuse to go to the ER. I'm literally sitting at the nurse's station like, and y'all see how dark complexion I am, right? I'm turning pale. I have the cold sweats. I have all the things, right? And so my nurse supervisor, she sends me down to the ER because, I'm sick. I'm not supposed to be in the hospital sick, making contagious, right? Turns out I have sepsis. And what sepsis is a multi-organ infection, right? So I have a post-op infection happening right now. So I'm told to go home. I called my Ajubona, and she's like, get on the flight right now, come to me, because she lived in Arizona. I lived in Miami. I literally got on the flight the next morning, flew to her house. She picked me from the airport, and I was damn near unconscious. Okay, like literally the fever had taken over. It was all like there's still gaps to what happened or whatnot, right? So she picks me up and then takes me to her ER. And when they examined me, they actually caused what's called a blood blister to form and then popped it. So now I'm bleeding out. Okay. And she's like, okay, let's just pause for a second. We're going to the shrine room. So we leave the ER. I go to her shrine room. I'm laying on the floor, literally bleeding out. She's divining. She got her stuff going. And then she gives me this bottle. Okay. She said, Ifá said, drink this and don't stop until I tell you to stop. Now, let me tell you something about this bottle. To this day, I don't know what was in this bottle. But it was like your regular wine-sized bottle. So it's like about this big, right? Mm-hmm. Jet black. You can see that there's plants in it. There is something swirling in it. Like it has, like the bottle has its own little whirlpool thing going on in it, right? And I'm drinking this bottle. I'm drinking this medicine. And as I drink it, the whirlpool doesn't stop. Like it just keeps going. It just keeps going. There's that much left. Can y'all see that? That much left in the bottle. And it's still whirlpooling.
Wow.
Don't know what's in it. I finish it. I pass out. I wake up the next morning. My color's back. The bleeding stopped. My fever's gone down. You know, I still have like aches and pains or whatnot, but everything has come to balance. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
She got back on the mat and she said, "All right, you good now." So that was 2009-ish, somewhere around there. And I legitimately have been cancer free ever since then.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
That look, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. It's been documented. I have said this 1,000 times. Like there is the one thing that I absolutely love the most about this particular form of spirituality is that you get answers, right?
Right.
Even if the answers is that you got to be accountable for your own bullshit, you get answers. There's a solution.
Right.
Just what they say, trust the process.
Right.
You know,
there's always a solution.
There's always a solution. So yeah, so that's like my roundabout. And then I actually went and got initiated to IFA. Shortly after that, like in 2013, I went. It was my first time going, and to Africa.
Where'd you get initiated at?
In Ibadan.
Okay.
Yeah, Agunda Meji Temple in Ibadan. And it was my first time touching foot on the continent. And let me tell you, that by itself was a whole thing. So just for anybody who's never flown internationally, just understand to get to Africa, no matter where you're coming from, you got to cross the ocean to get there. Okay. Unless you're coming from like Italy, you know, otherwise you got to cross the ocean to get there. And I think like halfway, because, you know, well, internationally, they'll have like the flight plan on the back of the seat so you can kind of track how far you are from the continent and stuff. So I believe I was like literally halfway from America, halfway from Africa. And now, mind you, I'm like 35,000 feet in the air. I can't see the ocean, but I know it's there. And I swear to you, I heard the ancestors. Like, stand up, clapping, like, she's coming back. Yeah, you know, I heard it. Had a whole emotional breakdown. Went and called the steward, the flight attendant, got some wine. I'm like, forgive me, but I had to pour some libation right there on the spot. Because it was just that, you know, that
right.
powerful. And then when I got off the plane, you know, the first time you get off the plane and you take that real deep breath, it's like, oh shit, I'm breathing African air. You know, it's like I'm like, it is so crazy because like everybody's melanated.
Right.
You know, you're special, but you're not special. You know?
Right.
And then when my Luo picked me up, like the hug he gave me was like, I've waited so long for you to get here. I'm happy that you're here. You know?
Right.
And yeah, man, it's been great ever since.
Oh, Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, I've experienced some of that too. Now, my first time in Africa wasn't in Nigeria, but I know what you mean. It's the same thing. I had the first place I went was Zimbabwe, and then South Africa. Then I went to Nigeria later, but it was the same thing. The first time when you get off the plane and you know you're there, and in my situation I got delayed a lot because I flew through I think Britain at that time, so it was in London, and we kept having problems all the way there. So when we landed in London, we had to sit on the plane because the computers had went down in New York, and so they made us sit there. So we sat there for like an hour and a half or something on the plane, and I'm like, okay, are we ever gonna, you know? Then we finally leave there, and no, I went to South Africa first. So we went to Zimbabwe. We landed in Zimbabwe, but we weren't getting off the plane. When we landed in Zimbabwe, the plane had a flat tire. So we had to sit on the plane, and I was going with a group, like it was a conference. So I was sitting there with Dick Gregory then. Dick Gregory
nice.
And a bunch of us. So Dick Gregory, we're sitting, and they had to turn the air conditioner off. So we're sitting on the plane for like 3 hours in Zaire. Is it Zaire? Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
I can't remember. No.
Zimbabwe.
I can't remember the name. Yeah. So we was in Zimbabwe for 3 hours sweating on the plane. So Dick Gregory was telling jokes the whole time.
I know he was.
So we was able to get through that. Then we finally took off and went to Johannesburg. And then as soon as we landed, we were going to a reception with Nelson Mandela, right? So like we couldn't even go in and change. They just said,
It's time.
Get on the bus is leaving. It's time to go. We just got there. But so, I didn't even have time to breathe really, but it was, and then when I went back, we went to Zimbabwe. I loved Zimbabwe when I was there. It was just, it was an amazing experience. And then the same thing when I went to Nigeria. But the funny thing too, when you talk about that bottle with the black medicine, you don't know what it is.
Yep.
When I got initiated in Nigeria, I got real sick, right? Because I wasn't warned. I wasn't warned about the Amero, right? So I wasn't warned, and they come sit there and have me drink this Amero. They had dipped up from the.
They set
put
you
a
up.
hole in the ground, mud, had me drinking this Amero. I got sick as I don't know what. So, and I never forget. I was in there in the room. I was just sick, and so Priestess came in. They had this bottle with black liquid in it, and this one I didn't even drink. It was, she said, okay, you're nauseous. I was nauseous. I had everything. So she said, okay, well just let me rub this on your chest. She just rubbed it on my chest. She said, you'll be okay. In 30 minutes, it was gone. Nausea was gone.
Sounds right.
I was just going on. After this day, I said, I wish I knew what was in that bottle.
No, you don't.
But,
No, you don't. Because if you found out the ingredients, you're like, see, y'all, nope.
yeah, it worked.
That's the thing. The medicines, they always work. It always worked. And I found out now through the process of my learning and everything, I know now why it's black medicine, just because of the way they process it and they chart it down. That's what makes it black. But let me tell you, that stuff works. It works.
It works.
And look, and when you're there, it's just to clean you out. It's just to clean you out to get the bad out. It's like, but it tastes like burnt tires. It's okay. It's good. It's good. It's good medicine. Don't worry. No problem.
You're right. So let me ask you this. So when you got in, you were the first person in your family, right?
First and only. Well, okay. Well, hold up. Well, let me take it back. My children are initiated now. So I'm no longer the only. But yeah, the first in my family.
So how did your family accept that? How did that work out?
Okay, so here's the fun part. I'm a preacher's kid.
You're what?
I'm a preacher's kid.
Oh, okay.
I'm a PK.
I want to hear this one.
Okay, so it's all about how you explain stuff. I can't just go say like, hey, I went to Africa and I went to I went to this compound and we sacrificed animals and I was covered in like, if you say it like that, it's going to be a problem. So what I told my father was, I went to Africa and I was baptized. Because technically, if you look at what baptism is in the Christian theoretic space, it's the exact same thing as initiation, minus some details or whatnot. But you're born again.
That is elaborate.
I know, right? But you're born again.
Right.
That's all you need to know. I was born again, and I believe in God. Yes, we call it by, we call that particular entity by a more ancestrally relevant name, but at the same, I'm good. So my dad, he was like, I don't know what you did over there, but you are the calmest you have ever been in your entire life. So keep doing what you're doing. Okay. So that's kind of how I played it out. So it's been very, very cool. Now, when my son got initiated, first of all, kids will snitch on you. They have zero respect. So he came in from getting initiated. He's like, Mom, we were up there sacrificing goats and we did, and I had to eat some, what did he have to eat? He had to do an accouché that involved eating crow's feet. Was it a crow? It was some kind of bird. He was eating that or whatever. And I had to eat that with bananas and then I had to sleep outside in the woods. I'm like, okay, so when he explains it, my mom is now like totally petrified. What did you do to my baby? You got him out here in the middle of the woods in Africa and you don't. I'm like, that is not how that happens. I went through it and lived. I'm okay. He's alive. It's fine. So it's been one of those kind of conversations, and then my second son and then my daughter, everybody's had their experience in Africa and being out in the bush at night. So my mom was just like, that's just y'all. That's just.
She's okay now.
She okay now. But, everything is still, every time she brings up something, she's like, well, I know you don't practice this. I don't know what you believe. Like, 20 years later, you don't know what I believe, really?
Mm-hmm.
So that's them. And then, like, my extended relatives, they just like, you went to Africa? Oh, can we come too?
Oh, yeah.
You don't need my permission, baby. Just get a flight. just get your passport. That's number one.
Number one.
Then catch a flight. I'm not gatekeeping getting you to Africa. That's not how that works. So it's been a very interesting thing, to say the least. And then, like, my sister, she's listening more to what I tell her. Now that I've been initiated and now that I actually live in Africa, she's listening to the things that I have to tell her more. And, she's kind of tiptoeing, but we'll see. We're going to keep working on her.
She younger than you? Or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the oldest of four. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go into, okay, so you got initiated. What are some of the other, do you have any stories from, you've had divinations besides the ones you told, that things happened that were interesting?
Yes. Two big ones. Two very big ones. All right, so I have a daughter now. When I got pregnant with her, my youngest son was 19 years old. Okay? Now, this is what makes her arrival into my life so interesting. I was told about her on my hand of Ifá, Ita, back when I got initiated to Sango. All right, and I was like, now mind you, when I was when I got initiated to Sango, I already had both of my kids, both of my boys. So I get this other little message, somebody, you're gonna have a daughter, like, where? And when I tell you, I was ignorant about it. I was real ignorant about it because every time it would come up when I would have any kind of reading, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Well, Ifá, I don't care what Ifá said. I ain't having no, the workshop is shut down. We ain't doing, no one's coming through this no more, right? And so then when I get pregnant with her, I was like, okay, fine. You win, Ifá. Ancestors, y'all win. Mama Osaranga, you win. You got her. Okay. I was told, a decade ago she was coming. Okay, you win. All right. Now the second part, so that's the first not funny, but like thing. Now going backwards, my oldest son got initiated in 2016, right? So when he got initiated, I came up in his reading, in his Ita, and I was told that, because at this time I'm living in Atlanta, and if I said, do not leave Atlanta because you're going to meet your husband and you're going to have a bunch of babies. And I was like, absolute lies. Lies and disrespect all the way across the board. I don't know what y'all talking about. I was in complete denial. In 2018, I became a midwife. And from 2018 to this day, I've delivered about 100 and something babies. I've actually brought hundreds of babies through the gate. Key back to what was said, you're going to have a lot of babies, right? And then it also said I couldn't leave because I would meet my husband.
That you couldn't what?
That I could not leave Atlanta because I would meet my husband. And at the time, I thought it was with the brother that I was with.
Well, I guess you're going to have to join us for part 2 of this episode of Talking Ifa with our guest, Iya Oloye Ifawemimo Sangolade Aresa, so that you can hear more of her interesting stories. In part 2, make sure to like and subscribe so that you're notified of all upcoming episodes, including this one. And also remember, we are here to build a community, and we're here to help those who are new to the religion of Ifa or lost in the religion of Ifa, and you're seeking help, assistance, or mentoring. Reach out. My contact info is located in the description below the video. Also, my 2026 Ifa Days calendar and planner are available for sale right now, and the links to those are also in the description of the video. We would love your support. Ire o Odabo.